Right, I think we should start now, yeah? You do registration to the back?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, good morning everyone. Welcome to Hackerschool. This is the first workshop of hopefully a long series of workshops. We'll be doing HTML5 and CSS3 today from scratch, which means that we don't assume any programming knowledge, we don't assume any prior knowledge of HTML. So if you want to, you're not from SOC, the School of Computing, and you just want to learn how to make websites, this is the right place to be. So first of all, my name is Cedric. Online I go by the name of Eli James. That's a weird story. But just call me Cedric. And there will be facilitators. Basically everybody at the back there who's standing up, these will be people who will be walking around. And if you have any problems, just raise your hand, they'll come and help you. This is how the workshop will work, is that I will show you stuff and you follow along. And I'll move quite relatively slowly from experience. And if you have any problems whatsoever, the facilitators will go there and go by your side and make sure that you can keep up or whatever. Okay. So this workshop uses the following two pieces of software. If you haven't installed them, please install them now. Sublime Text 2, yeah, not Sublime Text 1. Both are free. Although Sublime Text 2 would show you like a dialog asking you to buy it every 10 saves. But anyway. Okay. Have you all installed this? Okay, brilliant. So, what are we going to cover today? We're going to cover basic HTML, which is the stuff that websites are made of. We're going to cover basic CSS, which is the stuff that makes websites pretty. So HTML is the structure of the site. CSS is how the site should look, like what fonts, what colors. And then there will be breaks in between each of these sections, and then we'll put it together to make a personalized website using Twitter Bootstrap, which I'll introduce to you in a bit. Again, no prior knowledge is assumed. If you know some HTML, you might find the first parts of the workshop boring. But if that's the case, you can help the people next to you if they're struggling. Okay? Right. So, let's get started. I want you to open Chrome, and I want you to go to the New York Times. So that's NYT Hona. Oops, crap. I just launched iTunes. Anyway, NewYorkTimes.com. So, right? Let's kill iTunes. Right? So if you look at the New York Times, right, this is a very typical website. I would actually ask you to go to Facebook, just that I don't have Facebook. And if you scroll down, you see a number of things. You see pictures, you see text, you see boxes, right? So this is a website. And I am assuming that all of you have seen websites before, because otherwise, how would you have registered for this workshop? What I want you to do is I want you to go to View, right? It might be different if you're on Windows, but they should be an equivalent. I want you to go to Developer. Look for a tab called Developer. I want you to go to View Source, okay? So you should see something that's very ugly and looks like this. Maybe I should bump the size. Okay? So this, what you're looking at is you're looking at the source of NewYorkTimes.com. This is HTML. Every line of this is HTML. And this code tells your browser, like Google Chrome, to render or to show a page that looks like this. Right? Every part of this, every bit of this website corresponds to something here. And this looks very scary and this looks very messy. But by the end of this workshop, I guarantee you that you understand maybe not like some of the more complex elements, but you understand like 90% of this page, of what's going on here. You understand what a div is, you understand what a class is, you understand how it fits together. Okay? So here's another tip. If once you leave this workshop, if you ever want to learn HTML or you go to a website and you say, oh, I wonder how he did that, right? You can view the source of the page. And in fact, I'll teach you in a couple of minutes, I'll teach you a better way of looking at the source, the HTML source of a web page. How it works, how websites like this work is that when you go to the NewYorkTimes.com, a computer somewhere in the world, probably in America, generates a HTML page for you and sends it to your browser, and then your web browser, in this particular case Google Chrome, renders it and draws the pictures and makes the boxes look pretty, and then you can read news. Okay? So, here's the next thing I want you to do. I want you to go to your desktop, and I want you to create a new folder. Okay? Let's name it HTML5. HTML5 Workshop. Okay? Brilliant. Open a folder. It should be empty, obviously. Okay, next I want you to open Sublime Text. So on a Mac, you just open your applications and you scroll to Sublime Text. Where is it? Sublime Text, which should be this logo. Right. Just click it. If you're on Windows, just double click the icon, and you should see something like this. Okay. So far so good. So I want you to save. So file, save a new file. So I'm purposely going like really slowly. Normally I'll use keyboard shortcuts. If you don't understand what I've just done, like at any point in time, either stop me or ask one of the facilitators to help you. Let's save this to our desktop, the folder that we just created. So you navigate to it, and it's HTML5 Workshop, and it's a blank folder. And I want you to name this. Well, actually, you can name it whatever you want, but I'm going to name this my first web page.html. You must remember to add a .html at the back. The .html tells your computer that this is a HTML file. So I'm going to save this now. And you can type shit here. Okay. So let's type hello world. Let's save it. So if you go to your browser, if you go to your file folder, you should see a web page. My first web page.html. I want you to double click that rather open it in Chrome. I want you to open it in Chrome. Right? So for me, Chrome is default. For you, it might not be. But you should use Google Chrome, by the way, because it's fast and it's safe. And you see hello world. Like, if you can't see hello world. Okay. So far so good? Is everybody caught up? You have a hello world in front of you? Brilliant. Okay, let's go back to Sublime Text, yeah? I want you to delete this, because it's like useless. Okay, first thing you need to know. Every web page in the world has a basic structure. It doesn't matter whether it's New York Times or Facebook, all web pages in the world have a simple basic structure, and we're going to write that structure now, right? So, follow after me. HTML. Is this too small? I think it's too small. Let me bump the font size. Is it better? Okay, full screen. Okay, right. So HTML, and I want you to close it. HTML. The color is a bit hard to read, yeah. Let me try to change the color. You don't have to change the color. I'm just going to change the color on my computer. Yeah, I don't usually use that line. What do you recommend? Solarize. Is that better? Okay. I don't know if it's better. It's like a bit hard to see this thing. Anyway, we'll try this for a while. Okay, tell me if you can't see, yeah? Right, so have you written this down? Right, so the idea to notice here is that you have an opening tag. This is an opening tag, and this is a closing tag. And how you know it's closing is because of this, right? So here's idea number one. In HTML, every tag that you write must have an opening tag and a closing tag. What a tag is, you find out in a bit. So I want you to write the rest of the basic structure of a HTML page. I want you to write head. I want you to close the head tab. Right? Okay. You notice that Sublime will be throwing nice little helpful suggestions for you. So that's one way of knowing that it's right. Okay? So you got HTML, you got head, you got body. And this, my friends, is the basic structure of every HTML page in the universe. Okay. Right? Got it so far? So you notice again that every opening tag that I have, I've closed it. And I want you to notice another thing. There's head and there's body. There's two sections, right? So if you go into head, I want you to press enter. Actually, you know what? Let's save the document first. Save it. So you can command Control S or you can save. Let me just save here. And I want you to go. Okay, after you save, go to your browser, and you should see the hello world. I want you to reload the page. So reload, and you should see nothing. That's great. So the basic idea is you save, then you go to your browser, then you reload. This is a bit boring, but stick with me. So I want you to write a title. My first web page. Holy cow. Okay. Now save, go to your browser and reload, and you should see at the top here that the title has changed. My first web page, holy cow. Right? So the idea to know here is that I've introduced a new tag to you, title. In fact, you can go to any website and Facebook will say Facebook, so that at the top of your browser, there will be the word Facebook. And the next idea that you should know is that everything in head, everything inside this section are basically things that you don't want to appear on the website itself. So in this particular case, as you can see, there's nothing in the website. I mean, there's nothing in the web browser here, but you've just changed the title of your website. And head is basically for things that won't show up in your website. What shows up will be here. So in fact, if you want to test, you can type hello and hi, and you save, and then you reload, and hello appears here. Right? Things you want to see show up should be inside the body tag. Okay, let's move on. Everybody good so far? Brilliant. Let's start writing our first real content. It's H1. And you write, what's a good header? Holy cow. This is a heading. Okay, close the tab. And go to your save, go to your browser, reload. Okay. You can type whatever you want, by the way. This is just me being cheeky. Okay, let's type another line, right? This time H2. This is a heading, level 2. Actually, it's a level 2 heading. Okay. Okay. Alright, so far so good? You can save and then go to your browser and reload. Okay. And let's just finish this with a H3. You notice, by the way, that the level 3. Oh, so Sublime should be complaining. Sublime complains that I haven't bought it yet. But that's because I don't really use Sublime. Right. So, what do you notice about these three things? The first one is a H1, a level 1 heading. The second one is a level 2 heading. And the third one is a level 3 heading. And the level 1 heading is a lot bigger than the level 2 heading. And the level 2 heading is a lot bigger than the level 3 heading. And in fact, you can go on. The bigger the number, the smaller the heading. You can go down all the way down to H6. But sadly, there's no such thing as H1000. So what is this? What is a heading, right? You've probably gone to the New York Times. If we go to the New York Times, for instance, you'll notice that these big fonts, these are headings, right? These are titles of web pages. So a heading the heading is basically like a title for a page, and the level of the heading determines the importance. So obviously, H1 is the most important heading. You use it maybe for your website's name. H2, it's a slightly less important heading. You use it for, like, say, the name of your article or your essay that you're going to put on your web page. And heading level 3 would be, say, for subsections, subheadings inside your essay or article itself. Right? What I mean by importance is not very clear, but basically, importance is for machines, so that machines can look at your web page and understand like what's important and what's not, and then they can take things out. That's weird. It's going to be a few years in the future if it hasn't already happened already, but that's the basic idea. Okay, so we've created headings, and notice again that there is opening tags and closing tags. I'm trying to get the pace right, by the way. If you're bored, like, please tell me, or if this is too slow. Okay, so I told you that you can write an essay in a web page, so let's start doing that. I want you to write a P tag, and I want you to close it, and I want you to write something inside. Let's say this is a paragraph. And if you can guess, a P tag is basically a paragraph tag. You go to your web page, you load it, there is a paragraph, there's text, it looks perfectly normal. I want you to do something else. So if you've already created this paragraph, I want you to create a new paragraph. Just press the opening tag. And I want you to do something that Sublime allows you to do. So I want you to type LOREM. Okay? I want you to hit tab. It's the tab button. So this will insert dummy text into your, yeah. Because I'm lazy to get you to write all this. So save, and reload, and you have a paragraph. And as you can see, right? You lost. How did I do that? Yeah, I thought this would happen. You just type LOREM, lorem. Sorry, M, and then you tap, hit the tab key. Cool, right? Yeah. Anyway. Okay, this is a paragraph. As you can see, there's space between the two pieces of text, and that's because of the p tag. The p tag here, the p tag and the closing p tag says this is a paragraph. Put some space on top and at the bottom, and the browser does that, right? So what happens if you don't put a p tag? What happens if you type some text like, you know, I love seaweed, and then you type another line and go, I love seaweed a lot. Oops, I cannot spell. Save it, reload, and if you notice, there's no space. So here's idea number, I don't know what, X. Idea number 4. White space does not matter in HTML. You can have as many spaces as possible, and you reload the page and it's still the same, right? Okay, so you've gotten that idea out of the way. Now, but let's say, but there is a way actually of forcing the I love seaweed a lot on a new line. And this is the blank ru tag. Yeah, okay, this looks weird, yeah? We have this slash here, right? Normally we have an open tag and a close tag, right? Normally we have, you will expect this to happen, right? But we wrote this instead. But anyway, hold on, let's just delete this, sorry. And let's take a look at what this does. Save it, go to your browser, reload, and you see it's been moved to a new line. So what BR stands for is, BR is a blank rule. It tells the browser to insert a blank space. Okay? Now here's the next idea you need to know. So this is actually equal to this. It's the same thing. But you don't put anything inside here, right? Because this is a blank rule. So in HTML, there's this idea called a self-closing tag. This is the exact same thing as this. But because you want to be lazy, you don't want to write everything, you just write one tag and you put a slash at the back. Actually, you can even leave out the slash. But for the sake of semantics, and because I'm a bit anal like that, I want you to put a slash in there. Okay? So that's the next idea. All HTML tags have to have an opening tag and a closing tag, but there can be some HTML tags that are self-closing. They just close themselves. Okay, everybody good so far? Brilliant. Okay, next. Let's write a new paragraph. Let's say, I love to read the New York Times. Okay? And this is a new paragraph. There's nothing special here. You know about this. But let's link to the New York Times. So, I love to read the New York Times. This is the paragraph. I want you to go to the New York Times. I want you to copy the URL. You can right click and copy, you can Command C, copy. And don't paste yet. Oh. Okay, everybody copy the URL. Okay, href. Oh, actually no, never mind. Let me not put that first. Let me just introduce you to the A tag first. So I want you, then you can paste the URL here after the New York Times. Let's save this, yeah. Save this. Go to your web page. You reload. And nothing happens. The A tag is still there, but there's absolutely no effect. So what's an A tag? An A tag stands for an anchor tag, right? It actually stands for anchor. And it sounds a bit weird, but anchor tags are basically links. You've clicked on links before, I'm sure. Like if you're on Facebook and your friend posts a funny picture of a cat, you click on the link. And it's like anchoring to another HTML document somewhere on the internet. And the way to turn it into an actual link is to type hyperlink reference, href, and then you type an equals, and then you type this, which Salam is very nice, so Salam will autocomplete this for you. So now, inside this semicolons, inside this, not semicolons, what are they called? What are they called again? Double quotes, brilliant. You copy the URL, and you cut it actually. remove it and paste it here. Whoops, I forgot a H. Okay. You must have a HTTP, by the way, and a // and a New York Times will be www.newyorktimes.com. You reload this page, you have a link, and if you click the link, you go to the New York Times. So anyway, let's go back. Let's just go back. Okay. So you've learned how to create your first link, and I want you to notice that there's this thing called href. So you have an A tag, you have a HTML tag, but then you put something inside the HTML tag. So next idea, HTML tags can have things called attributes. You can put things inside those tags for special reasons. For in this particular case, it says that this is an anchor tag, this is a link tag that points to the New York Times. So this is an attribute, okay? And I'll be using this term to refer to more attributes that you get in the future. Right, it's time to add an image. Wait, is everybody good so far? Brilliant. So images. We all know what images are. We all like them. I want you to write the image tag first. Now the image tag is a self-closing tag, which is this idea that I just introduced you 2 tags ago. Okay? So if you reload the page, there's nothing. So you need to add an attribute called source. Okay? Again, the same thing, equals, double quotes. You can put single quotes as well, by the way, but I'm using double quotes because I like double quotes. Right? Now we need to find a link to an image that is good to use. So I want you to go to, let me just type it out for you, placekitten.com. I think I got the URL right. Div? Okay. Placekitten.com. You see lots of pictures of kittens. Brilliant? Okay. Actually, placekitten.com is exactly for this purpose. So you have lots of pictures to put inside HTML pages. Brilliant. Okay, so we've got lots of kittens. Let's pick a kitten. I don't know, you can choose whatever kitten you want, but I want this kitten. So right click it in Chrome and you should have a copy image URL. Right? And I want you to go to your web browser and you paste the URL inside. So you notice that the URL is very long, but essentially what it says is I want a URL of an image. So in this particular case, the image name is called 287.jpg. This is an image name that's hosted somewhere on the internet under this domain. Save this, you go to your web page and you reload, and there she is. Or he, I don't know. It's a bit ugly, yeah? Okay. Okay. So you got your first image. Brilliant. And the image tag is a combination of 2 ideas that you just had, which is a self-closing tag and an attribute. That's great. Now, I'm going to put this in H1 because it's very important. This is very important. Okay. I'm going to introduce you to one of the most... I'm going to introduce you to 2 more tags, and I'm going to stop. And you can go take a break and pee and whatever. Div. Okay? Yeah, I know. The div tag is very important. Okay? Have you written a div tag? Now you can write some text, yes? Yes, okay. Brilliant. Oh, I should keep that in mind. Oh, no? Okay. Div tag. So I want you to write some text inside. So it can be anything. Blah, 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 tomatoes. You reload. You will see this is very important. Whoa, what happened to the cat? Oh dear. Wait, let me just take another cat. I prefer this cat anyway. Yeah, this kitten works. So I really like my cat. So okay. Oh, strange. Right, never mind. Let's ignore that for a while. The div tag is more important. So you see H1, which is expected. Then you see it looks like a paragraph, but it's not. It's inside a div tag, but you can't see the div tag. What is a div tag? So a div basically stands for division. And if you go to the New York Times, you see actually a lot of divisions. This, for instance, is a division. This is a div. A div. You can think of a div as like a box. And if you go to Facebook, you go to New York Times, everything is in a box. This is a div. This is another div. This is a div. Everything in the structure of a web page, or not everything, but a lot of things, are all separated by divisions. And div is very important because when you want to make a web page, it doesn't look like shit. It doesn't look like, well, your first web page. You would have to use divs to separate out things. So you maybe have a little sidebar saying, I like cats. Then you have a main page that has a cat picture that says, I love cats, right? Instead of everything appearing in this one big vomit on the page. So div is important, and we will start doing a lot of things with div in the next section. And the next idea that you have to be aware of is span. Okay? So again, span does nothing. In fact, if you go to the web browser, you save. You go to the web browser, you reload. There's absolutely no change here, right? But span is like div, an inline container. And what it's used for, again, is not clear. I cannot explain to you, but I'll show it to you in the next section. Two more things before you go, right? Let's go to the original paragraph you wrote. Let's go to paragraph. I want you to make this italicized. So EM. This may seem very weird to you. EM, right? Reload this, and you notice that paragraph is, oh, the cat's back. Yay. Right. So you notice that paragraph is italicized. And you just use the EM tag. EM stands for emphasis. Okay? EM, emphasis. And say you want to make something bold, let's make lorem bold. Strong. And you reload, lorem becomes bold. So emphasis is for italicized text, and strong is for making things bold. Now you might be wondering, why is that strong and not bold? And it turns out that actually you can use bold. And you can use italics. Right? But I don't recommend that. You can use this, but a bunch of old men got together on the HTML5 working group and decided that this wasn't very descriptive. And so they asked everyone to change to EM and strong. But not everybody agrees with this, so this is actually an opinion. If you write B and I, it works just as well. And in fact, if you go to Hackerschool, you realize that everything's in B and I because he did it. And he thinks, that guy at the back there, Michael, yeah, he did it. And he thinks that B and I are perfectly valid because there's less typing. Anyway. So, okay, we're done with the first section. I've just introduced you. You've created your first web page. I've introduced you to HTML tags. I've told you that HTML tags must always be open and closed with a slash. I've introduced you to a basic set of HTML tags, really just about everything you need to know. And the next section, we'll start making things pretty. So take a break, 5 minutes, go out, walk around, drink water, ask questions. Be back in 5 minutes. That will be 10:45. Thank you.
Any problems, just raise your hand and one of us will come over.
Thanks.
How do you manage to get so many people?
I don't know. I think. Wait, it's recording. So
Yeah, that's fine.